Alright guys, welcome back. This is Bad Senator. So today, 4 states are holding their primaries for the 2018 midterms. We got Kentucky, Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas holding elections. If you live in any of those states and you're of voting age, please go out and vote, and then come back and watch the election results come in. And here's what you should be watching as those election results come in. So, in Kentucky, this poll's closed here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only really notable race here is the one between Amy McGrath and Jim Gray. So basically this race, Trump won this district, Kentucky 6, by a lot. However, Democrats have hope that they can pick up the seat from the Republicans after the current holder of the seat retired, and Jim Gray, the mayor of Lexington, announced he was running for the seat. Jim Gray, this man was able to win this congressional district in his race against Rand Paul in the 2016 Kentucky Senate election. So he definitely does have a winning history here, and he can make this race competitive. What's standing between him and actually making this Trump district a race is Amy McGrath, who was a pilot in the Army, not the Army, the Air Force. Yeah, but she probably would not be able to make this race as competitive because she's less known and hasn't really run before, and she's unproven. So Jim Gray is definitely the best person the Democrats want to win this race and potentially flip this heavy Trump district blue. Georgia governor primary. So an hour later, polls close at 7 p.m. here in Georgia. We have interesting primaries on both sides here. The front-runner for the Republican nomination in Georgia is Casey Cagle, the current lieutenant governor. Several other candidates are also running for the Republican nomination, the most notable of which being Brian Kemp, who is a conservative, well, by far the most conservative. And he posted an ad about, he's so conservative, he, blew up government spending, I think, and then an explosion went off in the background, and then he released an ad. He, pointed a gun at this kid who was interested in his daughter. So, yeah, this guy's pretty conservative. And then on the Democrat side, you have Stacey Abrams and Stacey Evans, the battle of the Staceys. Okay, Stacey Abrams and Stacey Evans have had very different approaches to winning this race. Stacey Evans, if she were to be nominated, would want to draw some more moderate rural voters in to win. If Stacey Abrams is nominated, her whole strategy is energizing the African-American vote. A lot of African-Americans in Georgia that don't necessarily vote in elections, but she wants to energize them and carry her to a victory. I still think the general election here is likely Republican, although it could become lean Republican if Brian Kemp wins. Another thing to keep note of here is the runoff. If no candidate in the primary gets 50% or more, or in the general for that matter, a runoff election will occur between the top 2 vote getters. So will Casey Cagle get 50% this time tonight, or will it go to a runoff with him and most likely Brian Kemp? I'm leaning towards the latter happening, but I guess we'll revisit that race if that happens. Another congressional district primary that's interesting to watch here. The 6th congressional district, Karen Handel is seeking re-election. This one's currently lean Republican, this district. However, Bobby Cable is looking to unseat her in the general election. He could definitely do it, but his main opposition to being the Democrat nominee is Lucia McBath. Lucia is an anti-gun activist, gun control activist, and I don't think she could beat Handel, because this is Georgia here. We're talking about this district that is running for, some of it's close to Atlanta, kind of, but a lot of it is in more rural and suburban Georgia. And of course, this is the South. People have guns here, and a gun control activist, I don't think would fly in this district. I think she may end up doing worse than John Ossoff. And I'd make that likely Republican if she won. But if Bobby Keppel run, this is definitely a race to watch in 2018, in November. Okay, and then an hour later, polls close in Texas. This is the most famous race probably tonight. John Culberson, the incumbent Republican, running He actually already is in. Basically, this is the runoff election right here. Texas technically already had its primaries. However, there's a rule in Texas, the runoff, and if no candidate gets 50% or more of the vote, then the top two vote getters of a primary advance to the runoff. And the runoff members here are Laura Moser and Lizzie Fletcher. Now, what made this race famous is DCCC paid for ads against Laura Moser. Okay, because this is because Laura Moser is a lot more of a liberal and a lot more on the left than Lizzie Fletcher. The Democrats know that Laura Moser probably won't be able to win this race. I mean, she could, but Lizzie Fletcher is definitely the better option here. And this also shows a trend we've been seeing on both sides of the political aisle is we have people that are more towards the ideological extremes on either side, sometimes winning and coming very close to capturing party nominations. The progressive resistance, never Trump movement, basically, this is people are going to say, okay, we're never going to work with Trump ever, we're going to impeach him and stuff. It's very similar to what the Tea Party insurgency was on the Republican side in 2010. Basically, the Tea Party was basically a group of Republicans that was going to be against Obama all the way and wanted to lower taxes and were very conservative. And they may have cost Republicans the Senate that year because they could have won Delaware, they could have won Colorado, not Washington, but Nevada. They could have won some seats, West Virginia, but they dropped the ball in those states because Tea Party candidates were winning and they were too far to the right of their constituents to win. We're seeing that a little bit on the Democrat side now. We're seeing progressive, liberal, never-Trumpers winning in primaries, really spinning it very close. And then really, I mean, this way, they may prevent the Democrats from winning the House in 2018. We're seeing it happen in the 2nd District, Omaha. That's on the Omaha congressional district race. That was going to be a very tight race, was the key factor. The establishment Democrat candidate was upsetted by the more progressive liberal one, and now that race is a lean Republican because of that. So all these leftist candidates could definitely cost Democrats the House in 2018. And then 3 minutes later, the polls close in Arkansas. Basically, we have the fixed Democrat nominee Jared Henderson is likely going to win. He has token opposition. And on the Republican side, here's where things get interesting. Asa Hutchinson, the current governor, is one of the most conservative governors in the United States. He ordered a bunch of executions of criminals who were on death row, I believe back in 2017. And then he's facing a primary challenge from Jan Morgan, who is somehow 5 times as conservative as he is. Jan Morgan, basically, what she did is she made her gun range a Muslim-free zone. She also has some other radical views in terms of that. She's almost kind of like the Don Blankenship of Arkansas, maybe a little bit toned down. Anyway, I think that if Jan Morgan were to win the primary, pull off an upset, Hutchinson's leading by far, but if Morgan can pull off an upset, which is possible, then it's probably likely Republican. If Hutchinson wins, it's probably safe Republican, because he is currently destroying Henderson in the polls. And then the final race we want to cover is the French Hill race. So this is yet another case where progressive candidates could cost the Democrats a House seat here. We have the incumbent Republican French Hill representing the Little Rock area. This area was actually a lot less Republican than you might think, only voted for Trump by 10 points, and Democrats think they have a real shot here. We have Clark Tucker, who is the establishment candidate. I think he could really beat French Hill. I have lots of family in this district, and their attitudes I know, so I think that Clark Tucker could definitely beat French Hill. However, in the way of that is several progressive candidates who probably are going to not win this race if they get nominated. Again, because progressive, that's just the nature of the South, they're not going to vote for these progressive candidates, especially with incumbent Republican congressman in a district that went for Trump by 10 points and voted for French Hill by over 23. So this is one to watch out for tonight. So if you're an establishment Democrat, you're rooting for Clark Tucker, because he's the one that can make this race a race. And then if one of the other minor progressive candidates pulls an upset, then this race is pretty much safe Republican. Thank you guys for watching this video. See you guys on the other side. Bye.